Last year I spoke about the importance of connecting every school to the internet. I also stated that if the MEC wanted to leave a legacy, this should be his. So how have we done 1 year on? As the economic powerhouse of the country, have we connected schools to the internet? There are approximately 2,059 schools, state schools in the province, of which 44 were connected last year to the Gauteng Broadband Network. In total, 260 schools are connected. That represents 13% of all schools in this province, 13%. And even by ANC standards, that has to be a gigantic failure. It's an absolute disgrace. 87% of schools are not connected. Those are the poorest of the poor. What we are doing is perpetuating the cycle of poverty in this province by not making sure they are connected. Written replies from both the MEC of Education and the MEC of E-Governance demonstrates the lack of accountability and leadership about connecting every school, every classroom, and every child to the internet. They both deflect responsibility for the dismal failure of each other's department, faster than the collapse of basic services across our province. If the current snail's pace of connectivity continues, we'll have to wait to 2059 before all the current state schools are actually connected. 2059, that's 34 years' time. If it were not such a tragedy, Madam Deputy Speaker, it would be laughable. This provincial government of unity is responsible for the creation of another lost generation. How incompetent must the government be to be unable to connect every school to the internet? Deputy Speaker, another concern is that of the very existence of this department. With a staff component of approximately 748, of which 238 or 32% of its entire workforce work in the Human Resources Division. So for every 2 employees you have 1 HR person. It is no wonder this department cannot meet any of its core mandates. 504 staff members work from home and a further 155 on a rotation basis. And this has been the case since COVID. We were informed in a committee meeting that there was a monitoring system in place to ensure that people working from home were doing just that, working, and not having their feet up watching Netflix. However, in a reply to a written question, the ME stated the following, and I quote, "The department is in the process of installing ProWatch system for monitoring employees' productivity. So far, it has been deployed or installed to 464 machines, but not yet activated." Close quote. So in other words, people have been working from home for 5 years without being monitored on what they've been doing. It is no wonder this department cannot reach its core mandate. It is also unconscionable that staff are not only still working from home, but they have never been monitored. Deputy Speaker, if this department wants to continue to exist, it needs a thorough restructuring with a concentrated focus on its core mandate, not HR. Otherwise, it is wasting taxpayers' money. It needs to be honest with itself, it needs help from the private sector, and it needs to get help from the private sector. I thank you very much.